Breakdown is presented by John's Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow.
Welcome into The Breakdown. It's a Week 5 edition. Phil Perry, Ted Johnson here to take you through that big 29-0 win by the Patriots over the Lions. Ted, do you have Zappy fever? Is Bailey Zappe making a play for the starting quarterback job long term?
You know what, Phil? A lot of discussion about this today. I would say not yet. Just not yet. I would say maybe, perhaps, maybe he might be, making there be a quarterback controversy. If he performs this way for another couple of games, then maybe, perhaps. And I will say this about the performance from Bailey Zappe is he's played at a level, I think, in a way that which Mac Jones is going to come back from his injury and go, oh, that's what I got to do. I think it's going to raise the level of his play the way Bailey Zappe is playing for Mac Jones. Yeah,
my opinion is that this will certainly be Mac Jones' job when he gets back, when he is healthy. But that's not to take anything away from what the rookie fourth-round pick out of Western Kentucky has showed over the course of these last 2 weeks and Sunday especially. The numbers now aren't overwhelming, but for a third stringer, more than you could hope for. Bailey Zappe, a very efficient 17 for 21. He had 188 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick, which wasn't his fault. And Pro Football Focus gave him the 3rd highest passing grade of any quarterback in Week 5. And Bill Belichick didn't sound too surprised about his QB's performance.
He was confident out there. He does a good job. Does a good job of seeing the game and can come off and identify and articulate what he saw, what happened, and that's usually right.
Getting another week of practice in, getting mental reps, physical reps, just taking every day. This past week is, taking every rep as a game rep. Continuing to work receivers, O-line before and after practice, and, just kind of building that, comfortability with everybody. And, it was a great way to come out this Sunday and get a win.
It's time now for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Ted, we just heard Bill Belichick there talking about just how well Bailey Zappe can explain on the sidelines what he had just seen on the field. Now, the play we're going to show here isn't one of his flashiest, though it does lead to the 1 touchdown pass that he had. But it does show that he can do his thinking on the field in real time as well. We've got full field read written at the top of the board. Tell us why.
Yeah, exactly, Phil. This is just a 6-yard game, but the way Bailey processes this play and goes through his reads, I think is really, really impressive. All right, so here's what you got to know on this play. There's a lot of things going on in this play, but first off, it's just where the protection is going to be set. The offensive line, they set the protection to the right side, so they're going to slide the offensive line to the right, defense is left. So these 3 guys have these 3 guys, however they come, and now on the right side, you have these 2 guys responsible for these 2, and the running back, Rhamondre Stevenson, did a fantastic job. A blitz pickup. He just picks up whoever comes from here or up here, and it was the middle linebacker, number 34 with the long blonde hair.
Alex Anzalone.
Thank you. He comes in here, he hits it, times it up perfectly at the snap of the ball. Rhamondre comes in, he feels it, and he sticks him hard and pushes him out of the way. Great job of giving the quarterback more of a clean pocket. Now he feels the pressure because right at the snap, boom, here comes Rhamondre. Here comes this linebacker. They meet in the hole. He just kind of sidesteps a little bit to buy himself some time. What does he do at the snap of the ball? Bailey, when he gets the ball, he looks down the middle of the field. He wants to see where this safety is. This will tell him a lot of information. He does that at first. And then you see his eyes go over here to this side. It's a two-man route combination right here. Tyquan Thornton is on the outside receiver. He thinks about going to him. He doesn't like what he sees. Okay, where does he go? And the clock's ticking. The pressure's starting to get to him. He calmly turns all the way back over to this side, full field read, and he sees Hunter Henry on this backside who's running a 10-yard out and who has inside leverage on this safety who should have outside leverage because his help is where, Phil? On the
middle
inside.
Of the field.
But no, he's playing inside because dumb teams do that. And Hunter Henry does a 10-yard out. Bailey sees where the safety is. It deals with this pressure, sidesteps. See this 2-man combination over, doesn't like it, turns his head all the way back over here and hits Hunter Henry way over here on the sideline for a 6-yard gain. It's impressive because of all the processing he had to do with the pressure in his face. Time is clicking, and then also this play was on the right hash mark. And so this throw to Hunter Henry for 6 yards was across the field, which is not an easy throw to make all the way over here. I just thought this was a very impressive play by Bailey Zappe, and it gives you an example of kind of what I think the coach is like in him. He makes good decisions. He has poise under pressure. He doesn't panic. And you saw him make plays like this all day yesterday.
Decision-making and accuracy. We've heard Bill Belichick talk about those tools as being the most important for any quarterback. You saw both on that play and on that drive. He finished things off by leading the Patriots to their only offensive touchdown of the day. Now, Zappy was only part of the offensive equation on Sunday. The Patriots had a great day running the football, despite Damian Harris leaving early with a hamstring injury. No Harris? No problem. Rhamondre Stevenson had a career day with 25 carries for 161 yards.
Just going in from Monday, we just knew we had to run the ball well and just be physical. And when Damian went down, I just told him I got his back, and he kind of knew I did and things like that. So just putting it all together, just playing a full four-quarter game, and just trying to be physical.
He's always good. He does a great job with the ball in his hands. He's a strong runner, but he can make people miss, and he's a really, it's a good football player. Really good football player. So glad we have him. Had a couple blitz pickup plays, right up the middle where he stepped up there. He's a good all-around back. Love him. Love him.
Woo! That is some high praise there from Bill Belichick. Brings us to our Ted-Nique. Ted-Nique is presented by Shaw's, perfecting the art of fresh. Ted, tell us why Rhamondre Stevenson was so effective running the football. What is it about his game that led him to all that production?
Yeah, I mean, he's just got a nice style. The way he runs is kind of reminds me of an Arian Foster, of a Curtis Martin. And what do I mean? He does a great job of sidestepping, okay? It's very difficult to get a good, solid, clean hit on Rhamondre Stevenson because he's so good at when defenders are coming at him at the last second doing this sidestep, or they call it a jump cut. So you'll see him do a lot of times Rhamondre will be going and then he kind of jumps and then flows out of that break. So he'll jump a little bit, boom, and it can go either way, to the right or to the left, to the right, doesn't matter. It's this jump cut. It's this little side shuffle step that he does. The defenders have a hard time of really zeroing in and hitting him. Arian Foster, Curtis Martin, those guys had longer careers because they did take on those direct hits and take on guys straight on like a lot of running backs do.
And he's a big back, so you would expect him to be that style of runner, maybe where he just lowers his shoulder and he absorbs every hit full force, but that's not necessarily the case because he's so athletic, he can make guys miss. And we saw that yesterday. He had a 49-yard run where I counted 5 different Lions, Ted, had opportunities to tackle this guy, and they weren't able to do it. Now, send the ball back to me because you're our resident linebacker here. If I'm Rhamondre Stevenson and I'm coming at you at the second level or in the open field, how do you bring Rhamondre Stevenson down? Okay,
there's a couple things you want to know as a defender, right? When you're going up against a guy like Rhamondre that's talented, that's explosive out of his cuts, you want to know two things. Two things should be a concern for you as a defender. One is you never want to take on a running back like this head on. Why don't you want to take him head on? Because that gives the running back a two-way go, all right? And it's much harder to tackle him when he can go either direction, all right? That's the first thing. The other thing you want to know is, where's your help? If you're an inside defender, like I played, inside linebacker, my help is always going to be to the outside. So I'm going to always pursue and start attacking a guy like Rhamondre from the inside out and push him to my help. If I'm a cornerback, and here comes Rhamondre Stevenson, I'm a cornerback, and I'm close to the boundary over here, and he's coming out here, I'm going to play outside leverage and force him back to my help. What you want to do as a defender when you're coming up to a guy like this who's so explosive out of his cuts is at the point of impact, when you get here, do not, as they say, jump off the diving board. Do not leave your feet. Do not leave. Do not lunge. Do not jump off your feet or jump off the diving board. When you get here, get a solid base, chop your feet, so be able to go to any direction as fast as you can. Do not leave your feet. Those are key things you need to do. Know where your help is. Don't take them head on. And when you get there, have a good lower base, chop your feet so that you can go right or left.
I get a little nervous when I've got the football in my hands here. Ted gets into his tackling stance, but I got out of it unscathed. The Lions really can't say the same when it came to tackling Rhamondre Stevenson. All right, I'm just hoping I get through the season, okay? All right, it's time for my report card. My report card is presented by the Massachusetts School of Law. And when you win a game 29-0, You get some decent grades, okay? Some of my readers, maybe not all that thrilled that it was only a B+ for Bailey Zappe, but straight A's across the board for the defense after their shutout of the Lions. Ted, you see those marks right there. Which aspect of the Patriots defense was most impressive?
They were all impressive in a lot of different ways, but I'm going to highlight the defensive line. I thought the defensive line, outside linebackers, did an excellent job, although I think they only got to Jared Goff a couple times, 2 sacks. One was a sack fumble that led to 6 points. But they pressured him all day. A lot of altered throws, a lot of hands in his face, a lot of just keeping him nervous. Like he was like a cat on a hot tin roof back there. And that was because the defensive line, Dietrich Wise, Devon Godchow, and Matthew Judon in particular are playing really at high levels right now.
Yeah, and I think across the board at linebacker, a lot of different contributors there as well. You mentioned Judon, but Josh Uche was pressuring Jared Goff at times. You saw Jawan Bentley have a nice game in the run game. So plenty of contributors for that front seven of the Patriots defense. Certainly tough sledding for the Lions. I mean, you get shut out, especially when you're the top scoring offense in the league. Not a great look. This is presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks built Ford tough. Detroit entered the game #1 in the NFL in both points and yards before this game, but the Patriots pitched a shutout. In the process, they held the Lions to just over 300 total yards and forced 2 massive turnovers. And that's where we turn for our next breakdown. Back out here for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't float. Ted, we just saw the numbers there. Utterly dominant performance by this Patriots defense. And we're going to take a closer look at what was probably the biggest defensive play of the game for New England. Matthew Judon, strip sack, Kyle Duggar, scoop and score. You've got scheming pressure at the top of the board here. Tell us why.
Yeah, so the Patriots did a good job of kind of creating situations in which you can get their best pass rusher, Matthew Judon, one-on-one matchups, all right? And so what you have to do is you have to send more than 4 rushers. In the Patriots, in this situation, they send 6 rushers on this play. So here's the thing. You got the offense, you got 5 offensive linemen, all right, and 1 running back. That's 6 guys protecting. Well, the Patriots send 6 guys. They bring this linebacker up here. They do a little 2-man stunt here. They bring Mack Wilson up here, who pushes through the guard here. You have Matthew. So that creates a one-on-one matchup with Matt Judon. If all these guys are coming, everybody's got somebody to block. This running back steps up and takes this linebacker right here. Matthew Judon comes around the edge to get this one-on-one matchup. So they scheme up a way to get him a one-on-one matchup, which is great. What the Patriots also did in this game all game long is a lot of these tight formations where the tight end is in tight like this, or any bunch formations that they did all game long, a lot of times they brought secondary pressure. Guys like Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips, Peppers, those kind of guys, they would get up in the line of scrimmage on this play. Kyle Duggar, who did eventually scoop the ball and score after the Matthew Judon strip sack, he's lined up over their best offensive weapon, T.J. Hawkinson, right here. He looks like he's going to be covering him man-to-man before the snap. But after the snap, what he does is he jams T.J. Hawkinson. Why does he do that? Because he's the best player on their offense. He jams him because he got man-to-man help behind him from Adrian Phillips. That helps him with his coverage by jamming him. And then after he jams him so that Adrian Phillips can get this coverage, help him with his coverage, then he starts to kind of start rushing and blitzing. He realizes he doesn't need to waste himself in the blitz because Matthew Judon's already applying pressure. So he folds back around. And he comes all the way back around. So where the quarterback gets sacked right here and hit, he's there and able to scoop it up and score. The Patriots schemed all day long, these tight formations, blitzing guys off the edge, creating 5-6-man rushes to get one-on-one matchups for Matthew Judon, and it worked to perfection right here. These two working in tandem. The Patriots do a really good job of just finding creative ways to get one-on-one matchups for their best pass rusher.
One-on-one for Matthew Judon, he wins. But one-on-ones across the board, too, right? Dietrich Wise over here, he wins his one-on-one as well. He comes inside. Judon goes on the high side. He gets the strip sack. Goff has nowhere to go. You know Bill Belichick has to be smiling watching this play back on Monday. Game-changing play by that Patriots front right there. So that scoop and score came on one of the Lions' 6 fourth-down attempts. Detroit unsuccessful on all 6. And according to Elias Sports, it's the worst fourth-down performance in NFL history. So you got that going for you, which is nice. Devin McCourty talked about it after the game.
If you watch the third downs, we're in the huddle. We're saying, hey, this isn't like the end. Like, they're going to go for it on 4th down. They've done that all year. We were locked in, ready to go, and we were able to execute and play good defense in those situations. And those are huge plays in the game. Like, that kind of kills momentum and morale. So I think the preparation going into the game and then going out and executing it was a good job by all 11 guys.
All right, we're back out here for Ted-Nique once again, presented by Shaw's Perfecting the Art of Fresh. And we got our buddy Tom Giles here with us now. Ted, you wanted to talk about a late game 4th down. It was a 4th and 2. And it was a stop by Jonathan Jones in the passing game. They made a lot of 4th down run stuffs, but this one stood out to you. Why?
Yeah, it stood out to me just because I just thought the Patriots were on it. You know, this was kind of one of those got-to-have-it plays, and the Patriots defense was caught off guard a little bit because the offense for the Lions, they hurried up and got to the line of scrimmage, and so there's a little bit of confusion on the defensive side. But they executed what the Lions did to perfection, and I want to tell you guys what they did here. So
we're going to be the Lions on this side.
Yep.
He'll be a receiver, and I'll be Amon-Ra St. Brown on the inside.
There you go. And I'm Jonathan Jones. I'm playing defensive back. Jonathan Jones makes the tackle. It was a great tackle here. This is what he does. So he's got this receiver, Tommy G, very fast. I scouted you in the combine. You're really fast. Not that fast. Hold on. And he's got him man-to-man, okay? Jonathan Jones does. You have Jalen Mills, who's a safety back here that you can't see. He's back here. He's got Phil in coverage, okay? So it is man-to-man coverage. But at the snap of the ball, as he starts running out here, Jonathan Jones sees the Jalen Mills guy is breaking out to the flat, and all they need is 2 yards. And so if Jalen Mills has to cover that guy, he'll easily get the first down. So what does Jonathan Jones do? Very smartly leaves his coverage and then breaks off his coverage and then comes over here. And makes the hit and knocks him down for a 2-yard loss. Very smart that the Patriots in that situation, anticipating a quick throw to the flat versus man-to-man coverage. Teams like to kind of rub and get defenses confused and switch. The Patriots switch their coverage perfectly. Jonathan Jones makes a great play. They get off the field.
And to be able to do that when all hell is breaking loose, if you go back and watch that play, there are a lot of Patriots defenders near the line of scrimmage who really aren't sure what their responsibilities are because the Lions hurried the way they did. But you have a veteran corner like Jonathan Jones, who's probably the best corner on the Patriots defense right now. Might be a rookie who has something to say about that. We'll talk about him later. But for him to be on his P's and Q's the way he was, it's a good sign for the Patriots defensive unit as a whole.
Thank you.
Giles, thanks so much.
Thanks, Tommy
Excellent
G.
wide receiver, fastest guy in the studio, if you didn't know. Okay, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, catch another edition of Quick Slants with a great athlete in his own right, Tommy Curran. He'll be joined by Kay Adams. It's presented by your local New England Honda dealers. Up next, Jacoby Myers back and making an immediate impact. We're breaking out our Monday Night Spotlight when the breakdown returns. So according to Pro Football Focus, Jack Jones is the best cornerback in football right now. What? Yeah, that's right. Among corners who've played all 5 games this season, Jones has the highest PFF grade in the league. Look at the names right behind him, too. Travarius Ward, Patrick Surtain, Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore. Wow. Yikes. Jones also has more picks than all of those guys. That brings us to our Monday Night Spotlight, which is presented by the Oakers Company, proud sponsor of the New England Patriots. Ted, what do you make of the rookie corner?
I love this guy. I mean, I think it's just his attitude. He's got kind of this junkyard dog mentality, very, very confident. For some people, it rubs people the wrong way. I particularly love that confidence. At that position in particular, you need to have that, and he feels like if you're going to throw in my area, he takes that as an insult, and he's going to make a play on you.
I spoke to him last week for our Next Pats podcast after he made that big pick in Green Bay off Aaron Rodgers. He had those comments after the game where he said, hey, it's disrespectful. Are you throwing out route on me? Disrespectful. I asked him about those comments. He said, I wish I felt any differently about it today than I did that week, but I don't.
Good.
That's the way I feel. And so he has this confidence about him. He also just has some great physical God-given talent that I think helps him.
His kind of explosion out of the cuts, his ability to one step and then come up is unmatched. I mean, he puts that foot in the ground, plants, and then he bursts up and closes in as good as anybody in the league.
Camera can't even keep up with you.
I know, I'm sorry.
I wonder how Jack Jones is able to get away from these receivers and make plays on the football. Let's talk about Jacoby Myers as well, because he lit it up yesterday, over 100 yards receiving. He was back after a 2-week absence, dealing with a knee injury, and he looked no worse for the wear. 7 passes, 111 yards, and a score. He was the he was responsible for the majority of the Patriots passing offense. He had more than 58% of Bailey Zappe's air yards. That's the second highest share of any player in the NFL in Week 5. So, Ted, when Bailey Zappe was going to the air, he was generally looking Jacoby Myers' way, short, intermediate, even down the field at times. This guy is just such a crucial part to what they're doing offensively. They needed him back.
Thank you for saying that, Phil. Thank you. Because there's just a lot of people, and I know you are like me when you give a lot of credit to Jacoby Myers. There's a lot of people just kind of, I don't think give him the credit he deserves. He's going into his 4th year. He's having another great season. All he's done since he's been here, Phil, is produce. He's a free agent next year. I think he's a key part of one of the free agents they need to really kind of prioritize in keeping on their roster next year.
Patriots head out to Cleveland this weekend very quickly. We're seeing Bailey Zappe again, and do you see the same type of game plan again from the Patriots?
I see the exact same game plan. Keep it simple. Run the ball with all these power moves with a little bit of zone, and then the play action off of it, and that suits his game just perfectly. He will manage it, and you can beat a team like Cleveland doing it that way.
That would suit Mac Jones's game, too. So
yes,
if he ends up coming back, might not be a bad idea for that guy. Stick around. We've got Arbella Early Edition with Trenny coming up at 6:30. Plenty more Patriots talk. We'll talk to you on the breakdown here. Ted, me, next week. We'll see you then.